Well, hello everyone. This is Chrystal Lynn, Cowgirl Astrologer, and I want to thank you guys for joining me. And this is, I think, our third night, Monday night together, where we're doing Facebook Live, and I just really look forward to these conversations because I get to hear from you guys, and it just really, I love the energy. So I'm really excited to come on tonight. There's a lot going on astrologically, so I want to talk about that. The title of my live Facebook tonight is "The World is Changing Very Fast." What is going on up in the stars? I'm also going to be doing some update on our time twins, and we have a special reading I'm going to do tonight. You know who you are. I'll wait to see if you come on. Hi, you guys. Hello. I love you guys. There she is. I love it. Aw. So I'm going to try and talk about what is going on right now up in the sky. I had the, let's see here. Let's look at the date. Today, I had it up, but somehow I got 2018. Let's not go that far ahead. So I just want to kind of give a little introduction. And what I want to share with you is, and for a lot of people out there, there's a lot of new people coming on this Facebook Live that may not know a lot about astrology. And, you know, a lot of you guys coming on are my astro nerds. We talk about this all the time. So I just want to do a little introduction to just explain that as above, so below. You know, we do feel the astrological changes up in the sky. And for many people who have no understanding of what's going on up there, it's like you'll feel it, like what is going on? But it's kind of a disconnect. And so tonight I want to help bring some connection to us, because I really believe that when we can understand what is going on up there, then we can truly, you know, begin to time ourselves and begin to understand that, you know, things are going on. Just last week, we've had a huge astrological shift. A few things that we want to follow. First of all, we always want to follow Mars. A lot of people, you know, ask me about business and when's a good time to start a business, or, you know, with their careers. And I always like to follow Mars, because Mars shifts every 8 weeks, the planet. And it gives us our energy. It gives us our boost. And in that case, we can kind of follow the trend of energy behind the scenes going on. So, you know, this is, hello everybody, it's going so fast. I would love to stop and say hi to everyone, but I do see you. I see you. So thank you guys all for coming on. Keep on coming. I got my son on tonight. Where's my husband? So I want to, you know, share with you guys that, as you know, and I know we all keep talking about it, but you know, we're just not quite over it yet. We have just been through an 8-month transition. Mars was in the planet Scorpio. So if you have any Scorpios out there, or people who have Scorpios in their chart, you know, this was something that was very powerful for you. And as we saw, you know, so many intense situations the last 8 months. You know, and interestingly enough, and, you know, even when we look at our world abroad and our political situation, the last 8 months have been ruthless, have they not? And, you know, to talk about these things in a way that we can understand the energy. We've all been having this underlining feeling of fear. And that's what Scorpio kind of does, because it helps you see behind the veil of life. Like suddenly we're seeing things, and secrets and different situations are coming to the surface. And, you know, we saw that. We also see this ability in our world to, again, I say be ruthless, but, you know, really stab each other at the core. And it's really been a tough energy. The good news is is that as we move into the summer, Mars has now moved into Sagittarius. Now, I don't know how you guys have been doing, but, you know, it's been a tough energy for me, just all of these shifts, because I think we've been suppressing so much of ourselves the last 8 months, of feelings we've had, situations going on, you know, not being able to really speak without creating, you know, a frenzy of debate and arguments. And we're afraid, we've been afraid to say how we feel. And what is Sagittarius? Hi, Lindsay. What is Sagittarius? Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So if I have any Saggies out there, I love you. I've been getting a lot of readings, and I have Sagittarius rising, Sagittarius, because they're all really feeling this powerful energy. Sagittarius is ruled by the planet Jupiter, and Jupiter is all about expansion and philosophy, and really being able to look at the situation from a bigger worldwide perspective instead of dissecting it. You know, Scorpio energy is kind of like the magnifying glass, and we're all just looking for every possible situation to prove that, you know, we were right. And it brought a lot of separation. It's brought a lot of separation in our world, has it not? Where, you know, a lot of us are responding out of fear. And, you know, there's something about fear, as we know. Fear begets fear. And when we make decisions based on fear, then every decision we make after that has to be made in fear, because we have to keep the storyline going for why we made that decision. But if we can make a decision based on our beliefs and based on who we are and our authenticity and our philosophies, and we can begin to look at the big picture, then things begin to shift, right? Because we can start seeing that, you know what, let's start dreaming together. Let's start looking at this world of how we want to participate, instead of feeling like, you know, we're just sitting ducks waiting for somebody to make a decision for us. No. Our energy counts. You might not feel like your vote counts, but your energy counts. You can be a part of creating a positive movement in your realm of influence, in your world. Never discount how powerful that is. And we don't have to feel like we are completely lost or that we are dependent on somebody else to make decisions for us. The good thing about the Sagittarius energy is it also really gives us this need to tell our stories. It's like we want to start telling our story, and we want to start talking about, you know, how all of this makes sense, figuring it out. It's also about adventure. So a lot of you guys right now are probably wanting to travel, wanting to go do things. It's like, let's get out. It's a fire sign, so it has a lot of energy. Now, if we kind of look at what else is going on right now, we know that Saturn and Mars, you know, are conjunct. They're not really close in degree. They're actually not in too bad a shape there. They're, you know, they are playing off of each other. So Saturn is, he's going, wait a minute. You want to speak? You better watch out, because everything you say right now is going to mean something. It becomes more powerful than ever. Sagittarius is really the preacher, and it's the philosopher, it's the guru. So, we're all looking for somebody we can count on. And the thing about it is we have to look at who we are. And, we create the energy that brings about the situations around us. And, it also, with Saturn there, is giving us a lot of rules. Saturn in Sagittarius, this is a 2.5-year transit for you Sagittarius out there again, talking to you. You guys, this is a Saturn transit. It happens once every 29 years, and it's a 2.5-year period. Does anybody have the date, the ending of Saturn in Sagittarius? I know that Saturn moved into Sagittarius last September 2015, 2.5-year period of time. So everything we say, it's kind of like we have this aggression and want to say it, but it's coming out so big and so loud. And then there's Saturn right there going, wait a minute, wait a minute. You know, these are the rules. These are the rules to the road for you to speak. That if you're not speaking authentically, you're going to be called out. And so there's still going to be, I like that, rules are made to be broken. And yes, and interestingly enough, now we have Mercury and Venus in Virgo. And yeah, Mercury and Venus are in Virgo. And when you look up in the sky and you look at planets that are lining up, they're called aspects, when they aspect each other. And sometimes a certain energy will aspect and it just brings about this super positive energy together, right? Just like when you meet people, if you met somebody and you just feel like, oh my gosh, this energy is explosive and it's just so exuberant and your energies are just really connecting on all levels. Sometimes you get around someone and you're like, wait a minute, I'm not feeling that there's something wrong here. There's this weird rub and I can't get through it. What is this? And you just say, oh, I don't know. I just have a bad feeling about that person. Sometimes energies, when they aspect, in a case like this with Mercury and Venus in Virgo, it's considered a square. It's considered a square. I hope my phone is not going to... Can you guys still hear me? It just gave me a sign that I'm getting full. I don't know if this will affect it or not. But we'll keep going as long as we can. So now Virgo is all about details. Virgo is all about the details. And Sagittarius is all about the big picture. Sag doesn't really like to be bogged down in the details because they just want to look at the big picture and how it can be done. The visionary. You know, it's the visionary. So we're having these huge visions right now for where we can go. Okay, good, you guys. And at the same time, Virgo, right? Pesky little Virgo. And, you know, I admit I am a Virgo. But we do. We start seeing the details. We try really hard not to look because we really don't want to be focused on every detail. But part of our defense mechanism is that discrimination. When we start to not feel like something's right, we have to then start finding the problem, picking at it. It can almost be like a chicken hen, you know, picking at something. And we'll pick at it until we figure it out. It'll drive us crazy. We're obsessive. It is very discerning, but it can get overdone because when we can't find our balance and the pieces aren't coming together, you know, and we don't feel like everything's okay, we can't just leave it alone. And so it's hard for us to flow. So the energy is kind of sticky right now. It's kind of intense. It's kind of like we want to go forward, but we're still being held back, having to deal with all these little details. We have the sun in Leo, right? The sun in Leo, which should be party time. Should be party time, but we're not quite there, are we? We're not really getting this good Leo season. I feel like it's passing us so quickly. But I think we have to understand that, yes, the energy will start to feel lighter. Okay, we are in the stationary direct period. Whenever planets change, it takes them a while to get moving. It takes us a while to get comfortable in the new flow. And it's okay to give yourself permission to go, whoa, I haven't found my balance here yet. Okay, I haven't quite found my balance. But to take advantage of this square, okay, because there's a reason when the planets line up in a way that creates a little tension, it's actually a good thing for us. It rubs us a little bit and it doesn't quite feel comfortable, but it helps us to start really finding the answer that we need. And we start, you know, just not being content. This isn't quite right, you know, and we start looking at the pieces and seeing if we can make them work together. Because it is time for our visions to come out. The fire is burning. It's starting to fuel us. But we do have to handle the details. And it's really, really important that you know, we understand that, you know, each transition in life is building to the next one. They are intricately designed to beautifully flow from one to the next to the next. And this gives us a chance to really, again, understanding what's going on, you know, helps us to really look at how to time ourselves to the future and not get in despair, you know, not get in despair. Yeah. So we also tonight are at the last degree of moon in Libra. Okay, right now I have the chart set at 28 degrees based on Pacific Standard Time here in California. And, you know, moon in Libra. Don't we love the moon in Libra? I love the moon in Libra. Moon in Libra kind of just like, oh, let's get all of this balance now. We need to take a look and we need to ground ourselves. I have to admit that the last week, and I don't know about you guys, but just looking around me in my personal surroundings, relationships, family, worldwide, it just this fire energy that came in, coming out of Scorpio, I feel like it brought up a lot of stuff. And, you know, people, Mars is aggressive and Sagittarius is, hey, I got something to tell you. And, you know, Sagittarius can be short. They're excellent at being sarcastic, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but quick-witted. And so we're kind of just real quick-witted and, you know, just to the point and not putting up with as much. And so a lot of stuff's coming out. A lot of stuff is coming out right now for people. This week I felt like was really a week that I, you know, really saw a lot of stuff that had been brewing for a long time, shoom, come to the surface. And, you know, it's very, very difficult. Yeah, we got a little break from Scorpio energy. I like that, Leanne. Are they smart asses? Yes, you know. Leanne's my Sag out there. Yeah, how did you guys do this week? Was it kind of rough for you guys too? It seems like it was just really, really a big shift. Physically, I felt it. I was super flat. And, you know, usually Leo energy gets me all excited, but I wasn't getting it. And I think just because of all these things going on, we've been really struggling between, come on, let's get going. And wait a minute, we're not done taking care of all these little details. Yeah. Scorpios are going to get a little break right now, okay? But you got to remember, there is also, Lilith is still in Scorpio. That will continue on for several months. It's kind of like the tail end of this. I would like to look at it in a positive way, that there could be some healing here, the rising of the phoenix, right? The rising, the little bit of energy that we still need. We're kind of weaning off being in this isolated place that we've all been in. Yeah, but I want to encourage you guys. I really want to encourage you and myself. I mean, you know, trying to just get the energy up to do anything, you know, just kind of pushing through it. Don't forget, we also have a lot of retrogrades going on right now. Let's see. Uranus and Aries is retrograde. So all my Aries out there, you know, this part of you that's coming out and your identity and knowing who you are. And, you know, all of a sudden when this energy shifts, it goes back over things that you had to deal with before that you didn't quite deal with. Who are you? And it's really important to look at your chart and see where you have this Aries energy. We're all trying to find our identities and where do we fit into this big picture, because nothing is the same. And really, nothing's ever going to be the same again. Okay? We have to understand that we're moving into a completely different generation of energy. And for those of us who are a little older, I won't mention who they might be, we are, you know, we're trying to figure out how to keep up with this amazing energy that is going so fast and is becoming all, you know, through the airwaves, all of our relationships, all of our situations. And we're not comfortable anymore with touch or those true connections. We're a little bit afraid because we've all been able to hide behind the screens. And, you know, it's like we miss our tribe, we miss collaborating, we miss connecting. But at the same time, we can't see, we can't feel, we can't touch. We can only see through a computer screen. And so our feelings and our intuitive abilities and our sensitivities are becoming so heightened, right? And, you know, we really can never see what's really going on the front page of everybody's, you know, the Facebooks have really become like everybody's personal journals and diaries, and their every thought or every whim or, and, you know, and I think it can be awesome. I think it's an amazing thing in ways that, you know, we get to read each other's stories and we get to document our own stories and we get to share it with people we may never have reconnected with or connect with. But I think we have to also be sensitive to the fact that many of us now have been so alone for so long, again, coming out of the Scorpio 4-year energy, that, you know, we're very sensitive. And it's difficult, you know, when you actually get with people. It's like even going down to the grocery store is a big deal. And I think with a lot of the fear that a lot of us, you know, we've been fed through the internet, you know, something gets said, you know, we don't check sources. We believe it. It gets into our mind. So we're being inundated day in and day out and day in and day out. There we go. Sorry about that. We're being right. We're being inundated with beliefs. And if you say something you believe, you're going to be attacked by 5 people. You're going to be attacked. No longer do we have this ability to have like really intelligent conversations like, hey, what do you think? Wow, that's an interesting perspective. You know, I'm doing my own homework. I read everybody's stuff, but you know, sometimes it's just so inundating that we're afraid to believe anything. We're all sitting and waiting for something to happen to us. And instead of being in an empowering position that we're contributing, okay, that we're contributing. Now, again, I'm talking about worldwide situations right now, but that also come down to our real world. And, you know, we see in the political arena, I'm just going to talk about it a little bit, that, you know, we have it's the narcissist versus the empath mentality, because we have 2 dynamically different people. And I'm using that as just an exaggeration, but it's something that has come up everywhere. And, you know, is it the person that's going to, you know, take us to the top and that we can blindly follow? Is it the person that, has all these underlining things going on that we can't trust? So we have these trust issues. And, you know, I wish I could stand here with all of you and tell you the answer for what's going on. I'm still evaluating and looking at all those things as well. But what I can tell you is that we need to look within ourselves, and we need to really ask ourselves, are we giving all our power away and putting it in the hands of anyone else? How much of an influence do we have in our daily life to create the worlds that we want? This is America, and it is a beautiful place, and it is a powerful place, and it is a great place. And sometimes we forget, because what happens? We're being inundated. Pretty soon we're like, oh, everything's miserable. Everything's horrible. Wait a minute. That's not all that's going on. How many blessings can we wake up to? How many blessings? You know, we get in our cars, we drive down the road, we go to doctor's appointments, we take our kids to school. We take it for granted that somehow, you know, those roads are paved for us. Those schools are there for us, you know, and we have to continue to educate ourselves. And that's what I'm preaching right now with Saturn and Sagittarius. That we have to create our tribes, that we have to be, you know, in a position that, you know, we don't lose our voice. And if we are fighting Um, okay, Lindsay. If we are fighting amongst each other, we have completely released and dissipated the positive energy that we can bring together. All right, and do what we believe. There's room for all of our belief systems here to make a difference in our daily lives. But as long as we're pitting against each other, we have to take the high road, because certain behaviors that we've been watching and seeing as our example of our leaders, we don't have to tolerate that. That can be unacceptable. But as long as we're all still feeding into it and feeding into it, and it's going to keep happening. You know, people, energy, let's just face it. You know, when somebody's got they're mad or they're upset, all the energy gets around that. But if somebody says, oh, today's a great day, I'm just doing great, it's kind of boring. We get sucked into that energy because it draws us in emotionally. Thank you. Draws us in emotionally. How can we change it? How can we dictate the energy? By the decisions that we make and how we talk to one another. And there's always room for beautiful debate. In fact, I think right now, because, we're in this Virgo-y energy, and Virgo-y energy is going to pick all the little pieces apart. They're the investigators, okay? And they like to pick everything apart, and really every word you say, they're listening to. And it's just our brains. It's not even like we want to. It's like it just triggers, it's very simple for us. But sometimes that, again, can become, the shadow side of that can be so critical that then we're completely isolating ourselves. And, how do we find that balance? Good news is September 9th, okay, 2016, Jupiter, our favorite planet up in the sky, is going to move into Libra for one whole year. And Libra is the 7th house. It represents the balance. It represents the mediator. It represents the most amazing debates. But one thing I love about a Libra is that when they debate, it is so classy and so refined. Like, you don't even know what happened. And like, they are so good at this exchange. And for some people, it drives them crazy. But when I have Mercury and Venus in Libra. So when I'm talking to other Libras, I just love that energy, because it's like, well, what do you think? Well, here's what I think. And there's this beautiful exchange possible. And with Jupiter moving in, I think the good news is we are going to be seeing more of these conversations happening. Okay, you believe something different than I do. I believe something different than you do. But hey, where can we meet in the middle to still have a positive influence in our realm of influence? Okay, so, we have to remember that our energy matters. Our energy matters, and we can make a difference when we understand how to use it in a positive way. So, this is a very powerful time to learn and to engage these conversations with each other. I think that, we've gotten so extreme and so separated, which is what fear does. Fear on any level. Fear of being deceived. Fear, it's we can sabotage our own lives just by continually being afraid that we can make that happen. And at some point in time, we just have to live true to ourselves individually. When we give our power to somebody else, then we're going to be afraid and we're going to be defensive. But when we know that if that shit hits the fan, we're still standing, then you know what? We can live and be loyal and honest to ourselves and trust that we will attract that. And if we're worried all the time, and I'm talking about this because we really, again, have come out of a long period of time that's really, has us very fearful. And so my son Ethan keeps saying, remember to share this with your friends. He's my little Mars and Gemini advertiser down there. So, by the way, I love you, Geminis. Um, let's see. A Virgo is going to tell you what you don't want to hear, and Libra is going to tell you exactly what you want to hear. And in both cases, they are trying to love you. Awesome, Monica. And that's true. Um, or in the bottom left, you can invite your friends. Everybody be reading Ethan's messages. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit more. Let's go on a little lighter topic. And if you guys have any questions, you know, we can go back and forth. But I wanted to talk. Yeah, we're going to talk about Lindsay. Lindsay Davis is on tonight. She sent me a message last week, and we were talking. She just had twins. And, you know, my subject right now has been time twins. And I want to thank you guys. So many of you guys have sent me your information. And I am still working on laying the foundation for this. So if you've not heard back from me yet, don't worry. I'm gathering. There's so much information coming in. It kind of, I wasn't prepared for how many people were coming in. So I really want to lay the foundation of this research and study really well. And then it'll really start flowing. So hang in there. And I'm still waiting for some more birthdays to come in, because that gives me more to look at and see if I can compare. So, and people have asked me this question, you know, if I have a birth twin, you know, a lot of people say, is that the same thing as a time twin? And how many times do we have twins that are so different? So, you know, and this is something as in astrology we're still studying. So for Lindsay to give me the birth chart of her new little babies, they were born on June 2nd, 2016. And for those of you guys who have seen my little granddaughter, my little grandbaby, she was born on June 15th. So just a few weeks later. So yeah, these are special little kids right now. So now it's interesting because of the fact that, you know, cesareans are really common. It used to be that twins, you know, would be born a few minutes apart. Sometimes twins will be born literally on the cusp, like one might be born, say, at Cancer, ascended at 29 degrees, and say 6 to 7 minutes later, it may have switched into Leo. And so in those cases, you really see the difference. You really see the different lives and even more extreme different look, okay? But in Lindsay's case, these little babies were born 1 minute apart. 1 minute apart. Now, it's interesting because, you know, really their life path is so intertwined. So this is going to be a good study to watch, you know. But, you know, it's really interesting because one of the things that I see in these babies' charts, and they're little girls, right, Lindsay? I got that right. They're little girls. I don't have their names, I don't think, but they're little girls. I'm pretty sure. They were born with Moon, Mercury in Taurus. How many out there of you have a Moon, Mercury conjunction? How many out there have a Moon, Mercury conjunction? There's something really special about a Moon, Mercury conjunction. Sometimes you see this, you know, you definitely see this in siblings. Like if you look at your brothers and sisters charts, you might notice patterns. But Moon, Mercury conjunctions, there is a real strong, let's see, Haley and Tinley. Okay, awesome. Yes, and they are identical. But Moon, Mercury conjunction is kind of like this mother-sister vibe. And these little gals are going to be really close to mama, okay? And as you get older, they're just going to be like your little sidekicks because you have this Moon Mercury conjunction, okay? So this is a real special connection. This is also in your 11th house, this Moon Mercury in Taurus in the 11th house. So this is really, the 11th house is where your dreams and your wishes are. Now, Taurus is sometimes kind of hard to peg there because Aquarius rules the 11th house. And it's really, you know, the outer belief, like what you are drawn to, like humanitarian efforts. And so, hey, Carrie, I'm a hot grandma. Sorry, I had to say hi to Carrie. and and so you are too, Mama. And so, this is like the Taurus energy it's really interesting because it becomes like a sanctuary. It becomes this place that you want to protect and provide for. So as this plays out, it'll be interesting. And I feel like because the moon is in Taurus here, mom is going to play a big part in this. It's something that you all end up having a belief for and having a mission for. It's like you're guiding these girls in this special belief system and a part of your mission in life, like a calling. Like some people go to another country and they help orphanages, and sometimes you can see that in the 11th house. That might be more in Sagittarius, but here it's in Taurus. So there's a real earth, there's a hippie quality here. This could also be wanting to be raised on a farm or on property, really wanting to raise these girls in a very natural environment where they can learn the land and plant seeds. These girls have a strong earth quality, and it's something you can share together with mom, that, gardens and raising them in a way that they really appreciate the earth. They're going to need that. Okay, and then your 7-year-old is a Taurus. Okay, so see, this Taurus energy is going through these children. So, when I look at a chart like this, I would say these children need to have a little property, a little land, be able to garden, being able to get their hands dirty in the earth as part of their experience of growth, because it's the earth sign that plants the seeds. And Lisa's twins are Geminis. Now, interestingly, you see a lot of twins. Almost all of the twins that I've looked at charts on have Gemini. Okay, and that's Lindsay. Yes, see, that's Lindsay's dream, is to be in that environment. And so I didn't know that, but see how this is happening here. With all this strong Gemini, the other thing that's really important with these girls is they're going to be talking. These are going to be the type of twins that have their own secret language. These are going to be type of twins that like finish each other's thoughts, and two little chatterboxes. Okay, you have to keep them very, very stimulated. Lots of things they're going to want to learn, and lots of books, lots of experiences, lot of conversations. So good thing they have each other, because they'll probably keep each other busy. Yes. Yeah. So, the other thing that's really interesting is they are born, and this is all the children that are born right now are born during this Mars and Scorpio. They were born during this retrograde. And you have to understand that Scorpio energy is very, very political. How many Scorpios do you know, like, you have a political conversation with them and they know everything? Like, they are on it. They may not tell you, but if you get them talking, Scorpios know what's going on politically. They're very drawn to political things. And they're also drawn to, like, they're not going to just believe anything. So these children right now are born during a very political time. And a lot of times you have to understand that when we're born with, like, it's like a astrological DNA of a period of time that's happening. And this has been a rough period of time. So it takes 29 years. It takes 29 years to have your first Saturn. Okay, Saturn takes 29 years to get around the sun. So when they have, and I'm talking about all the children born right now, have their very first Saturn, they are probably going to be dealing with things that have been started right now. And they won't understand it, but they'll have a strong passion, being born during Saturn and Sagittarius, to be the preachers, to be the philosophers, to try to fix what we're doing. Okay? They're going to be fixing it. They're going to be looking at it. They're going to have the answers. We're not going to have the answers. We're going to be playing all this out for the next 29 years. And the children born today will have a strong need to be political. So if your children right now are born and you notice that even at a young age they're starting to show interest in what's going on in the world, You really want to encourage that. Especially Sagittarius, it's the highest learning. It's the master. And it's the professor. It's the higher level of, like I said, of learning and schooling. So if you have children that have Sagittarius in their chart, you really want to teach them about everything, so that they can be prepared. They need to be prepared. We have to prepare our children. And understanding your child's chart, by the way, I do children readings. Just like I am here, I do audios and I look at charts and I help you see the best ways that's going to activate the best out of your child and bring out the best so they can be prepared for the gifting that they have. It's interesting because I'm, a Virgo, and you guys know Virgos love animals. You see a lot of Virgos that are veterinarians, that take care of the earth. And I was fortunate because my mom, I was raised by a Virgo. And so when I was a little girl, my favorite thing to do was be able to go to the pet store. And my mom would take me to the pet store. And every time we went, we'd bring home a little bird or a little iguana or a little puppy or a little turtle. And my mom really enjoyed that with me because she kind of had that same, love for little animals. But I'm so grateful for that because my future life, my profession, really became taking care of animals. And my mom, unknowingly or knowingly instilled that in me. And I was able to have those experiences as a very young girl. So when we understand our children, it really gives us a huge opportunity and to focus on who they are. Now, I'm going to say one more thing about these charts of our little twinsies here. They both have a Cancer rising. Literally, like, they're not even 1 degree apart. Now, I know, I think that you had said, they're already different. Now, with Geminis, we know that it's the twins, and we know that they can really fluctuate back and forth between different people. Male Geminis call it the committee. They've got to talk to the committee. And Geminis, they are the ones that can fluctuate between personalities. And they can create, it's part of their protection to be able to be who they need to be and when they need to be it. And when they understand it and they use it, it's quite a talented art. But in this case, because they are so identical, they may switch personalities. One's a good twin, one's a bad twin, one's a bad twin, one's a good twin, back and forth. It'll be something for you to observe to see if they really maintain, being the same twin at the same time, or if they play off each other. Okay, so these are things we're all learning. So this opportunity gives me a chance to ask questions. And when I do astrological research, it doesn't happen overnight. Like in this case, I would love to be able to follow Lindsay and over the years and ask, how's it going? What are they interested in? What are those things happening? Because this helps us learn. This helps us learn. So some days one is fussy and some days, yeah. You're going to see that because, again, they're going to have that ability to role play and be that different energy. And both of them have a Cancer rising. So they're going to be little mama girls. And again, here you have the Gemini that's super chatty, but you have the strong water signs between Mars and Scorpio and the ascendant in Cancer, where these girls will need time out, time to go play in their rooms, time to go and, really recharge and want to be home. And so a lot of parents think something's wrong with their kids, like, oh, they're normally really outgoing, I don't know what's wrong with them. But if you really look at our charts, we have to honor the different sides of us. You guys know I have the Pisces Virgo thing going on. So, when I'm in my Virgo mode, oh my gosh, talk. But, when the water signs up in the sky are really heavy, then, I need to go recharge. Like, it's all too much for me. And I literally, nothing comes out of my mouth, and then it's all up in my head. And so this is something I'm learning, and thank goodness, understanding your chart, understanding the energies and honoring them, flowing with them. There's a purpose. There's a reason. And it's a beautiful reason, because when I'm in my time that I can't give out, I'm creating privately. I'm creating. You're welcome, honey. And we'll be talking more about these girls. um, we'll be talking, you know, I'm sorry, going back to what I was saying, I got off track there. But understanding who you are. So these are little gals that are going to be busy, but they're also extremely intuitive. They're probably not going to be jumping in everyone's lap. Anytime you see that Mars in Scorpio, that child's going to be a little bit more observant and watching. So listen to your intuitive children. You know, listen to your little intuitive children. You have kids out there that have Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. Listen to them. They have the hardest time communicating because they go by feel. When you have a lot of water sign, like, you're always questioning yourself. Is it me? You know, is it, you know, because we see things before they happen. And sometimes we can even see the worst case scenario of a situation. It doesn't mean the worst case scenario is going to happen, though. It just means we have the potential to read the situation all the way to the worst possible scenario. And people get really afraid of their psychic ability or their intuitive ability. People get afraid of the word psychic. Psychic is just being able to read behind the scenes, read between the lines. We all have the ability in different ways. Some of us are more heavy laden with this, and it can be really difficult because we spend most of our time, you know, most of our time trying to figure it out. You know, is that a natural fear? Should I be concerned? Because if you are truly an intuitive person, how many things have you seen come true based on thoughts that you didn't tell anyone about? And then afterward it happens and you're like, I knew that was going to happen. And so as you get older and you learn to use this gift, and with these little twins, they're very, very intuitive. Okay. So they're going to be talking about a lot of things. Also with children, I'll bring up another couple things here. And my son has Venus in Scorpio. A lot of children that have a lot of Scorpio may deal with night terrors or bad dreams or be afraid of, you know, sleeping alone and those things, because they just pick up on all kinds of energy and, you know, even imaginary, its ability to kind of see the darker world and those fears. So, you know, my son has dealt with waking up with a lot of dreams, and, you know, we just kind of be there for him. It's really hard, and many of you guys know of a lot of Scorpio in your chart, that's probably something you've experienced. Now, Cancer energy, just to talk about this just a little bit for my Cancers out there, I may have a few Cancers out there. You guys are ruled by the moon, so everything that is behind the scenes becomes illuminated. Okay, becomes illuminated, and you feel it. You know, like the Pisces will really feel it more on the inside. They'll get kind of nudges, like little intuitions or little thoughts, or they'll be able to see it like a movie screen. You know, Pisces is that ability to see it play out like a movie. But Cancer, sometimes it just takes over your whole entire body, and it's hard to discern, what the heck am I feeling like this for? And yes, and if you have a Cancer moon, you guys can really take on other people's illnesses, other people, how they feel. Like, not necessarily like you're going to take their illness on, but you can actually mimic and feel what they feel. And especially when somebody's talking to you, because the water signs are the people that have this ability to go there emotionally with you. So when we get around somebody with a water sign, we may not realize it, especially Pisces right in there. You know, it's like all of a sudden we have this, like, oh my gosh, why am I telling you everything? Especially if you have Scorpio friends or Moon and Scorpio friend. And I love my Moon and Scorpios. It's like all of a sudden I'm just like, what? Because it's like, I already know I can't lie, and I want so much someone to just be honest with me. Like, someone just tell me as it is, you know, don't believe my baloney, you know, don't let me believe my own, my own system. Tell me something else, because I could be wrong. because, you know, we don't always have the perfect picture, especially when our emotions get involved. Um, don't mean to interrupt, but please invite your friends to watch. That's my Aries son. Go, son, go. um, and so, you know, I talk about the signs because I think we've lost how powerful each individual sign in the zodiac is. You know, so much of astrology, you know, had become about, oh, I hate this sign or I hate that sign. Every one of us has a important part. It's a whole. Without one, we don't have them all. And if you're not comfortable, you know, some of us aren't comfortable having to like go down to those real deep conversations, you know, the back porch conversations that, you know, you tell all, or tell the ghost stories, you know, that's going to happen with your water signs, you know. So anyway, there's a lot of energy going on, and let's see, anything else? You guys have any other questions about what's going on astrologically right now? Any questions? Let's see. Jupiter is still in Virgo. North Node is still there. And for those of you guys who are contemplating starting your own business, get it going. Get on there. You know, press the button. With the Leo energy, it's very creative energy, even though Leo hasn't gotten its full justice this year. But Leo energy, remember, they're the ones that know how to brand themselves. Yes, we have some coming eclipses coming in September. And it's going to be a Virgo-Pisces energy. We've had Virgo-Pisces going on all year between the North Node, South Node. You know, this is really a hard energy, as much as this is like my life to try to explain to people. But if anyone should be able to explain it, it would be me. So, you know, let me just say, the Virgo-Pisces axis, it's an axis, okay? It's the opposite signs. But there's certain things that are very common between them both. There's service and there's compassion, okay? When we look at Mother Teresa, you know, we see the Virgo, okay? She's like the poster child for the Virgo. This ability to serve and to feed and to take care of. Pisces energy really embodies, you know, honestly, it embodies the Jesus consciousness, you know, who Jesus was. Because the period of time when the New Testament started 2,000 years ago, it kicked off the age of Pisces. We have been in the age of Pisces for, you know, the last 2,000 years. As we move into the age of Aquarius, which is roughly 2050, 2035. I mean, we're on the cusp. There's different astrologers that talk about different dates, but regardless, when you're talking about a 2,000 year period and we're in 2016, we're on the cusp. We're about 35 years away from this stationary direct, but everything that's coming through now is the age of Aquarius. It's everywhere we look. It's equality. It's let's treat each other equal. Everybody has rights. It doesn't matter what you believe. Let's all come to a common place. And I think that it's scary for people. And I'm going to get back to the eclipses here. I go off on my Pisces tangent. That's why I'm always afraid to talk Pisces talk, you guys, because I'll get all like out in, you know, Pisces land. So, now all of a sudden we have this Virgo Pisces energy, one that says we need to heal the earth, and the other part that says we need to heal ourselves. And so this is a very difficult time. Bye, honey. My son's leaving right now with my daughter. Pisces can also rule a very addictive part of our society, because Pisces energy is really all about escaping, already being beyond this world. It's like, what do I have left here? You know, I've already been here. I've already done that. And that's why so many people feel frustrated right now, because they're wanting to go to a higher level of energy. And they're wanting to hang on to things that make sense and that compassion. And, you know, the North Node being in Virgo is directing us more to a place that we're having to do something now with all of these things and not live out in this fairy tale land. That we're not accomplishing anything when we isolate ourselves, or we just go and be a little monk somewhere, or we escape through so many convenient ways. And so, does that make sense to you guys? I mean, it's a lot deeper than that. It's hard for me to really just give you that in just a nutshell. And I will be talking about the eclipses more when I can really, it's something I need to go into, you know? Does that make sense? But Neptune is in Pisces. And it's in the backdrop of all of this crazy stuff going on. And Neptune is coming in and saying, remember compassion. Remember to love your brother. Remember that we're not fighting. We've already done this before, you guys. The 12th house is which rules Pisces, is the period of time right before we die. When you arrive to that place, when you let go of everything that's ever held you down. And, you know, I can remember, you know, when my grandmother passed away, and I don't want to get emotional, but like her last words to me, you know, she called me over because she knew I was spiritual. And she said, honestly, do you think I did enough? Do you think I'm going to go to heaven? Did I give enough? I should have went to church more. I should have tithed more. Like, she was an older lady, and that was her generation, that you did something to earn salvation. You know, did I do enough? And it's like, oh my gosh, Grandma, you know, your heart, you know, like, it's not about doing more. It's about what your heart gives out. And that's, you know, sometimes doing more isn't the best thing than being more. And my grandmother was there at every single birth, at every single wedding, at every single birthday, you know, at every single Christmas. She was there. But and that's this Virgo Pisces energy, you guys. That's what I'm trying to encapsulate here. Virgo is kind of that, you need to do more. You need to do more. Virgos are always doing, okay? We always have to feel like we're doing something. Like, do you know how many days, like, okay, we call it, my mom and I laugh because we're both Virgos, and if I talk to her on the phone, we say that we have to assess the situation. Okay, here's the joke. We have to assess the situation. So let's say you're going to clean your house. Like, you don't just start cleaning. You have to assess the situation for a long time and rehash how you have to clean your house, and you really need to clean your house. And you really need to get it done, and, you know, really. And so you'll talk about it for hours. But you are exhausted by the time you've talked about all the things you need to do, that you may not even do them. But as a Virgo, you're doing something by talking about what you need to do. Okay? I'm giving you the private neurotic Virgo side. All right? Pisces is all about doing less. You don't need to do anymore. Be. Don't do, be. Don't do, be. Flow. Let it come to you. Let it happen when you feel it. Let you feel like it, do it. Let it, this energy lead you. So how do we bring those two together? How do we let go and do? How do we bring this energy together? And that's what these eclipses are about. As far as personally, as far as globally, that's another topic, and we'll talk about them. But it you know, the spiritual community, and that's everybody that wants to make a difference and do good. Okay? I'm not talking about the religious communities, because there's so many belief systems. And so many people, because of the Virgo Pisces energy, are really questioning their belief systems. And that separates us from doing good, because we all have to live on this earth, right? We all have to live in this world. When we get in the car, don't you have to trust that somebody's going to stop at the light when your light is green, or the stop sign? You're not asking and wondering what their religious beliefs are at that moment, or their political beliefs at their moment. You're trusting that they have the same common interest as you, and that's making it home. and that they respect certain rules, right? And when we get on the road and people aren't respecting the rules and our lives are in danger, then, you know, we get really mad at that person, don't we? Wait a minute, you're putting us all at danger here. And there's consequences for that, because there has to be a certain energy that we all agree on. Okay? And there's a certain thing that we all have in common. We have to have air, we have to drink water, and we have to eat, right? We have to have shelter over our heads. And so what happens when, instead of arguing, if we don't start doing, okay, doing things that promote the basic care of this earth, and believing that not one is more entitled than the other. Because, you know, one group might think they're entitled, but, you know, life can change in a minute, and that entitlement will have no value. You know, every heart deserves the same basic rights. And so, you know, I'm kind of going off. This feels a little philosophical, a little Mars and Saggy right now. Mars and Saturn are in my 10th house, 9th and 10th house of career. So, you know, it's been really intense for me, because all of these things I've been holding back, my beliefs and my thoughts, and, you know, all these things I've been observing for the last 4 years, like, I really feel like, you know, this message is brewing. I'm seeing it, like, come, and I'm feeling the urge, like, I have to get this out. So this is a really good thing. Thanks, you guys. And I'm trying to, I apologize, all your stuff is coming up so quick. Trying to read what you're saying. Does anybody else have any questions? I think I mentioned earlier about my update on the Astro Twins. You know, please hang in there with me, you guys. I do have stuff coming to you. We're going to do a questionnaire, so I have these things. I'm working on that right now. I wanted to get it as detailed as I can, so I'm working on that. You know, getting through the week right now, I think it's really important, you know, gosh, you know, that Virgo energy is going to have us wanting to check things off our list. You know, if there are things that you have not been taking care of, like that feeling of get it done. Don't let it keep you back, because it really, when Virgos can't check off the box, they're just dead in the water. Not even in the water, they're just dry on the earth. That's a good question, Chris. You know what? The question is, how do you feel Saturn direct on the 13th will affect us? I think people are going to really be coming out. I think you're going to see it a lot in the political world. Again, huge bursts of belief systems, little bit of, you know, fire signs kind of have that ego-y side. So, you know, you're going to really see people for what they are. There's been a lot of things we've been watching behind the scenes. Saturn has gone, you know, was retrograde, kind of having us review our belief systems. I think some leaders may be going back and saying, maybe I shouldn't be talking like that. Maybe they'll either come out worse than ever, or they're going to have learned some lessons while it was retrograde, to pay attention to what you're saying. You know, Sagittarius, it's a very high level of respect and energy. Again, I always say it's the teacher, the guru, the preacher. And don't we hold them more responsible when they speak? We do. And when that is taken recklessly, which Mars now in Sagittarius may create a little recklessness, or really, you know, argumentative, or this is my belief, it might be too much. Saturn's going to come in there right behind it and go, all right, hold on a minute. And when Saturn gets in a position like this, consequences happen quick. You know how you ever done something and like you think, oh, okay, well, that, you know, I said that and I guess it wasn't a big deal. No, everything you do and say when you have a Mars-Saturn conjunction is on review and will be held accountable very quickly. So, you know, you're just not going to get away with a lot because Saturn's right there to back it up. And Mars is kind of there to blow it up. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, the retrograde seemed like nobody was holding back, you know, but at the same time, now that it's going to go direct, I mean, now you got fueled energy. Now everything that's been holding back. And, you know, Sagittarius, again, on the more shadowy side, on the more shadowy side, is kind of sarcastic. And, you know, they have because they do have they are so intelligent, it's like, it is easier for them to look down at people. And again, I'm not talking about the spiritual community. I'm just talking about when you see in the public eye, when you see somebody with a lot of Sagittarius, they are kind of the all-knowing and sometimes can't take advice from anyone else. So with Mars and Saturn here, they're going to be under, you know, under inspection. Okay, I don't know if that answered it. Just a few thoughts. You know, a lot of this stuff we got to see for ourselves. You know, we've never been in this time in history. So, you know, this is a new time for us. So I have a little friend here. You want to say hi? Look, everybody's right there. You want to say hi? This is my little Cappy. This is my little Cappy. This is Colt. And he has a moon, Mercury, in Sagittarius. So mommy's always teaching him things about philosophies, huh? You say hi to everyone? You tell them you're going to go to school? Mm-hmm. You can go to school? Mwah. All right, let me say goodbye to everyone.
Bye. Subscribe to my channel if you need to. But it's an old channel because Hannah's is old channel too. But my channel has amazing stuff in it.
Oh, he's going to start his own channel.
I got my own channel ready.
Oh, how many subscribers do you have?
9,000 subscribers.
Oh my, he has 9,000 subscribers.
Ah, God dang it, that's more than...
Okay, Sissy.
You know what?
He'll take over the whole show.
No, don't take
So
over.
you guys, this is just some things to think about. If you guys want me to talk about some other things in the future, you know, next Monday night, you know, let me know. All this is open to different things. I am continuing the Astro Twins, so just hang in there with me, and it's going to be coming out soon. I really anticipate a lot of stuff. Okay. All right, you guys. And if you need... This is what being mama and having kids is. If you guys want a reading, you know what to do. Go over to cowgirlastrologer.com. I have a special still going on. I also have one-on-one readings. So, you know, that's how I do what I do. So any participation over there would be awesome. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. And check me out on YouTube. I have something coming on YouTube too. You gonna say bye-bye? All right, you guys. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.